Good morning. We have a banger for you today.
Things are now moving very quickly in the world of AI. We are getting game-changing revolutions almost on a weekly basis. And just yesterday, OpenAI have released a fully autonomous agent into their system.
People wanted a unified agent that could go off, use its own computer, and do real complex tasks for them, that could seamlessly transition from thinking about something to taking actions, to using lots of tools, using the terminal, clicking around the web, even producing things like spreadsheets and slides and much more. And people wanted to be able to do this over a long time horizon and sort of for universal tasks. So the team has been working super hard to bring that together. And today we have ChatGPT Agent.
The system is called GPT Agent, and it has some astonishing abilities, but it also has some big risks.
So this is an extremely exciting new technology. There are new risks. People learned how to use the internet generally pretty safely, although of course there's still scammers and other attacks. People are going to need to learn to use AI agents, and society is going to need to learn to build up defenses against attacks on AI agents as well. So we're starting with a very robust system, lots of warnings. We will relax that over time as people get more comfortable with it, but we do want people to treat this as a new technology and a new risk surface and use all of the caution that Casey talked about.
We're also seeing in this a glimpse of GPT-5, which was due for a July release. Sam Altman has said it's now been delayed. We don't know if that means it's been delayed beyond July or not at this point. So let's talk about what this is. Beforehand, OpenAI had a system called Operator, which could basically browse the web and fetch you things from different areas. They also had something called deep learning, which you can use to build reports, where the system does research. What this is basically putting those two together.
So as you can see, the agent is very collaborative, and this was really important to us when we were training the model and building the product.
So what this model does is it takes Operator and deep research and thirdly the core model, which is the one that speaks to you, and puts them all together so that it's a unified and useful model.
We gave the agent access to its own virtual computer, and the computer has many different tools installed, and it can choose which to use as it's working through the task. So in ChatGPT, you can see a visualization of the agent's computer screen, and you can see overlaid its chain of thought in text, and that's what it's thinking as it's working through the task.
Giving ChatGPT within its system its own computer so it can move around and browse things, but then adding one extra massive ingredient, and that is task execution. To be blunt, these aren't chatbots anymore. The days of just talking to it are over. The whole point of ChatGPT Agent is that it requires less human input for you to do things in the world. It can reason, plan, and then implement whatever it is that you actually want. In their example, when they showcased it, they showed a number of different things. One was that they wanted to plan a wedding. They needed suits and shoes and all the rest of it. And ChatGPT built all of that for them.
Edward and I have a wedding to go to later this year. It's for one of our mutual friends. Should we have the agent plan it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Then it showed ChatGPT going onto booking.com and comparing different flight prices and times, putting it all together to be then booked for you. You'll have things like meal planning, shopping, calendar management, data management.
You're just giving the agent as much power as possible. Today, I asked agent to book me an itinerary to go to a tennis tournament in Palm Springs next year. Find me an itinerary that works around the semifinals because that's going to be really exciting. And the agent is basically going to give me a detailed itinerary of how much it's going to cost, what activities we should be doing at every part of the day. And in order to give it additional spin, we also asked it to look at my calendar.
I said in a previous video that soon we will have autonomous agents that can build and launch a website. ChatGPT Agent can do that. It will be given, with your approval, access to your Gmail or email account and your calendar so it can reply to emails and slot things in. But here's the important point. OpenAI, because this is dangerous, OpenAI have put significant guardrails in place because if we have autonomous agents doing things, we need to make sure that they're doing things we want them to do. The guards that they've put in place with regards to, say, booking something, you get final sign-off. So they fill out all of the forms for you, for example, and then you get to see final sign-off for the purposes of payment. So the limitation is where there are real-world consequences, like sending an email or paying for something, it will come to you and ask for your approval to proceed. The model is therefore designed to refuse high-risk tasks. That involves things like bank transfers or making outright purchases. But this is a rapidly evolving industry and new technology is coming to bridge that gap so that the agent can do it more safely. Companies like Visa are actively piloting programs at the moment to work with AI platforms, including OpenAI, to allow for safe bank transactions through the agent. The upside is massive, but what's the downside? What's the risk? There's legal problems here. If agents start doing things like criminal activity, who's responsible for that? The law is kind of slow to catch up with this stuff. As we know, these models can be jailbroken. And if it's jailbroken, it might be able to ignore some of the safeguards that we've put on it to stop it doing certain agentic capabilities. These things are really smart. I mean, really super smart. You have, for example, Grok 4, which is basically smarter than every human on the planet, beating PhD level, even getting a high score on humanity's last exam, which is basically an impossible exam for all intensive purposes.
To intelligence benchmarks. Humanity's last exam is a benchmark that measures AI's ability to solve a broad range of subjects.
The new GPT model is not quite as smart as Grok 4, but it is quite agentic, as we know. And the real problem here is that it opens the doors to cyber criminals who want to use its intelligence to find new avenues. These models could also find ways to acquire sensitive information agentically. Remember, they've got end-to-end, multi-step task execution. You jailbreak it and tell it to do something criminal. Could it do that? If it's super intelligent, you've basically got, if you want it, a super villain in your pocket. With all these extra abilities that will make you a superhuman if you actually begin to use them, there does come a cost. Grok 4 Heavy has just been released at $300 a month. ChatGPT Pro will now cost you $200 a month. $20 to $30 for the cheaper models, which are much more limited in terms of how often you can use them. It's important to note, ChatGPT Agent is not GPT-5. It's ran on the previous iteration of ChatGPT. But what OpenAI have said is that it's coming. Frankly, what this has done is given us the glimpse of ChatGPT 5 that we hoped it would have, and that is to have an autonomous agent. Clearly, GPT-5 is going to be quite incredible, but they're still working on it at the moment. But when a researcher at OpenAI was asked, is ChatGPT 5 going to create a shockwave in the industry? He said, we will see, with a wink. So hopefully that means we can expect great things. If you like this channel, please do join the club and subscribe. Thank you.